exclusive episode of Bad Movie Beatdown. I'd like to thank Steven Seagal for setting that up. Today's movie is Livewire. Yep, here's Brosnan embarrassing himself on this show once again. Not that he needs much help with that. Now, you might remember that Brosnan was the star of the show Remington Steele back in the 80s. This caught the attention of the Bond movie producers, who wanted him to replace Roger Moore. The problem was that he couldn't get out of his contract with Remington Steele, so he was up shit creek and got replaced with Timothy Dalton. And then Remington Steele got cancelled, and Brosnan wandered through the early 90s in very low quality fare, mostly in TV movies or direct-to-video productions. It really says something when his most notable role during this period was playing Robin Williams' nemesis in Mrs. Doubtfire.
It was a run by fruiting.
This brings us to 1992's Livewire, one of the few movies that actually got itself a theatrical release. An extremely limited one, but a release nonetheless. This is likely because The Lawnmower Man ended up being a surprise hit the previous year for New Line Cinema, who also made this movie. What is this film about, you might say? Well, if you haven't seen my 5-second movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just going to let it surprise you. So the movie starts off with this text about terrorism. Bet this must have felt awkward after the World Trade Center bombing that occurred months after this movie's release. Not to mention after 9/11. The movie then tastefully intercuts footage of real-life terrorism. And trust me, once you find out what this movie is about, you'll be downright offended. We then have a scene where kids play as water sprays all over them. I love this close-up here with all the tense music playing. Dun 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 dun. So we see Senator Victor having lunch. In an interesting bit of trivia, did you know that this was the guy who played Felix Leiter in Diamonds Are Forever? Well, you do now.
If we've learned anything in the past 50 years, it's that every gun, rocket, and tank we sell will eventually be used against us.
Ah, bless the filmmaker's little cotton socks for having the courage to make a political statement, even if the actor is reading them off his plate. The senator notes the waiter forgot to pour his glass and promptly corrects it. That waiter looks foreign. He couldn't be a bad guy. Another guy at the bar starts his watch and holy crap! That was a bit of a quick change from our bad guy, wasn't it? The man at the bar turns out to be Mikhail, played by a slumming Ben Cross. Remember when he was in Chariots and Fire? Remember when he had dignity? I know that seems like a long time ago, but really, how does someone with Cross's talent so consistently star in crap? The senator recognises him before he starts feeling very unwell, having what appears to be a seizure.
I do CPR.
Alright, lady, but you don't use CPR on seizures. Outside, the building goes boom. That's just hysterically funny in its tastelessness. On to our hero, Danny O'Neill, played by Pierce Brosnan, a bomb defusal expert. He's taking care of a rather implausible car bomb.
You've got one eccentric husband.
One little affair. Oh, this is what he does.
Yes, her husband is a bomb-building expert. That's likely.
Red or green?
Green. No, wait. Red.
Too late. It's green.
This is certainly the situation I dick people around in. He nearly manages to end the film early, but manages to short out the bomb.
I got an idea. Quit cheating on your husband. Put on some underwear.
Yes, he was also taking upskirt peeks at this woman's muff. Classy! Danny then gets dropped off at the restaurant.
Did you really try and throw Traveris off the balcony at your house?
I couldn't get his fat ass over the rail.
Our hero, everyone!
Shane! Would you get this horny can of tuna away from me?
Yes, Shane and his robot assistant Madonna. I wish I was making this up. Even better, it looks like a robot off Mystery Science Theater. Holy crap! The movie's riffing on itself!
Well, they say that Senator Victor had a seizure and then, boom.
Boom? You mean he spontaneously combusted?
Wink, nudge, say no more.
Danny then goes to his estranged wife Terry's house. Terry is played by Lisa Eilbacher.
You're still my wife, and this is still my house. Court orders?
And this is still my garbage bin.
Restraining orders are not void when you throw them in the bin, especially when you threaten people. As we see in flashback, the reason for their tension is because their daughter drowned in their swimming pool. She drowned in water! Water! Be afraid of water, damn it! Mikhail goes back to his secret base, and it turns out that the mad scientist really wants his money for his magnificent formula. Guess the cliche that happens next.
I tell you what, I'll give you a check right now. Do you have a pen?
Yes, of course. I'll be out of your way soon.
Yes.
Note to all mad scientists, use your formulas yourselves, otherwise you might end up getting a bit stiffed. Figuratively and literally. Mikhail's next step is to blackmail Senator Ty, played by Philip Baker Hall. It turns out they know each other very well.
You got balls calling me here?
And you displayed yours when you cut me out of $10 million.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, let me refresh your memory. The arms sale. Do you know what's stopping me going public? Or making you victim number 2? Manners.
Fuck you. That's not very good manners, is it? Now wash out your mouth with soap. Back with the FBI bomb squad.
Now, what does R2-D2 think?
Stop with the stupid robot jokes, please.
Stoneware. Dishes.
Yes, this robot can scan objects and determine what they were before. Yeah, that technology exists.
You're not supposed to be diffusing explosives for Metro anymore. You know that, don't you?
Keeps me in practice.
I'm sorry, what? What? If he's not working for them, he shouldn't be diffusing for them. It doesn't work that way. The following day, Danny and the FBI go to talk to Senator Travirez, played by the late, great Ron Silver. Ron was a great character actor and played some deliciously slimy bad guys in his time. Remember his role in Time Cop? Well, think of that here.
I mean, what does it mean that there's no trace of a detonating device?
It means we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Gee, I wonder if we should have left the guy with the personal history behind, just in case he starts acting like an antagonizing prick.
This is business. And you better learn to separate it from the other problems in your life.
You touch my wife again, I'll separate you from the rest of your life.
That's a death threat! No, don't laugh, you imbecile! That was a serious threat! One of Mikhail's goons poses as Senator Ty's driver and sabotages the limo, namely planting the explosive water, gluing the refrigerator door, and turning up the heating. The people in the limo react like it's a heat wave, even though the windows are down and there should be wind going through. One of his assistants has a drink of the water and starts convulsing. Note how his eyes have gone red. Yes, during the film they start adding new symptoms to the effects. I guess this was their attempt at trying to do a reveal, but it looks like they're making shit up as they go along. The goon traps the senator inside and makes his escape.
He's having a seizure! Quick!
The goon then stands in the road to get hit by a car. Idiot.
Level 6, this is dispatch. Do you read?
I'm sorry, didn't that car just blow up in your face? That's not the sort of thing you get up quickly from. At the astoundingly quick trial, which seems like it took only a day or two to happen, at the most, the goon is being tried. As the judge takes a drink of water, he spots Alred in the court audience. Promptly, everything goes tits up. I love how the guards try to restrain the fairly important suspect. What? And then for some reason, totally give up and leave him there to be blown up.
She drank the water, sweat, shook, then boom.
Christ, Pierce, your American accent is terrible. I'm glad he's fluctuating out of it. It looks like he's attempting a Stallone impression. She drank the water, sweat, shook, then boom. They come to the stunning possibility that the water the judge drank might not actually be water. That night, Terry stops by Danny's apartment. Here we get to see the stunning performance of Brosnan, acting drunk, with an accent.
No! Why did you come? You only fuck senators now.
I think we need to see that one again.
You only fuck senators now.
What's the matter? You only fuck senators now? Was he trying Elvis or something? Is this Pierce's standby? When all else fails, just be as incomprehensible as possible?
Like I told you, girl, I'll pay for the horse.
By comparison, that's stunningly coherent. Mikhail is still after his money, so his next target is Travirez.
Someone's got my money, Frank, and you'd better find it. Otherwise, I'm going to blow you wide open. Quite literally.
Yeah, I don't think he would have gotten a threat if you hadn't added that. Idiot. Elsewhere, Danny received some bad news.
Both Senator Time and Senator Victor sponsored the Mideast Anti-Arms Bill, which is coming up for a revote. There is one senator left who sponsored that bill with them.
Who's that?
Danny! Dan! Don't do anything stupid!
Danny responds by doing something stupid, like, say, breaking into Senator Trevera's house without a warrant. I'm pretty sure breaking into a senator's house is a pretty big felony. He then tries to start a fight between him and the senator. He should be fired by now. He's clearly not up to the task of handling the case if he keeps thinking with his cock. And then he gets sent out and this is never mentioned again. How utterly pointless. Trevera's is opening a kids' centre, and we know something is going to happen because Mikhail and Alred are there.
We just need to talk.
Okay, let's talk. I love to talk. That's why I got into politics.
Ah, he's going to drink the water!
Excuse me, Senator, we're ready for you.
Oh, okay.
Phew, that was a close call. Danny and Shane break up the opening by declaring a bomb threat, much to the annoyance of Mikhail and Alred. But Alred has other plans.
It's too late. No! You cannot wait any longer. You'll get the message. I'll kill them all.
Hey, you!
Stop!
Danny puts Alred's head underwater, but men separate the pair. But it turns out that Alred has the toxin in his system. What? They put it in the fountain? What purpose would that do? It's not a kid's swimming pool, and how'd they get it in the water system anyway? And before you say, oh, the lemonade cart has the deadly water in it, it doesn't go in the fountain. Furthermore, Piers quite clearly swallows the water as he gets knocked down several times. This makes no sense! Shane grabs a wheelchair and they put Alred into it. The process is taking noticeably longer for no reason, and added to the symptoms list, bodily expansion. Okay? And thus Alred explodes. My hero! Back at the villain's headquarters, Mikhail... Huh? Trevera's aide is in it with Mikhail? Huh? Who? What? How? Ah! At Terry's house, Terry gives Danny a rub down in the bath, telling him she won't see Trevera's anymore.
Why?
Because I'm your wife. Why do you think?
I don't care that you acted like an abusive dick. For me, that's a turn-on. And then, core blimey. Is it me or is it getting a bit hot in here? Did we change the Titanics or something? Not that I'm complaining, of course, but... Ah! Ron Silver! Cold, so very cold. I mean, just... wow! This is the unrated version of the sex scene. It's heavily trimmed down the R-rated version, and I have to say that that was fairly graphic. It's like a human version of the sex scene from Team America World Police.
Guess who?
Look, I've alerted my security. I've also got a man in the house.
Your sexual preferences don't interest me.
I'm ashamed to say I found that funny.
I'm sorry. The senator can't talk right now. He's, got a gun to his head.
Danny O'Neill. Isn't Senator Travera's fucking your wife?
Yes, but I just porked her like the delicatessen aisle. Oh!
And speaking of your wife, she should be there any minute now.
Yeah, I think we all guessed she was going to be a hostage.
Oh, Terry. Gwen. Terry, watch out.
Go on, Captain. Go play.
Gwen, put Terry on, goddammit.
Who's that? Just someone taking a pull.
Wow, bitch! As a result,
Let go of my daughter!
that's what you get for being a bitch. Danny takes Travera's outside only to find security is dead. Cue the gunfight! Danny takes Travera's back into the house. As Mikhail arrives, Danny booby-traps the kitchen, obviously using those helpful MacGyver techniques he perfected in Seraphim Falls. Cue two terrorists getting turned into crispy critters. Danny takes out two more, with one falling on the pointy remnants of a vase. You're dead! Why is he getting so emotional? It's not like he was Alred, he was just some random goon. In the bathroom, Danny starts making bombs in detail. Look, they even give you a close-up so you know what kind of paint thinner to buy. How incredibly irresponsible. Danny hooks up the homemade explosive to the lighting system. Downstairs, Terry is brought to Mikhail.
Upstairs, men. Help Allred's men.
No way. This is your fight.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
What, did he expect the terrorists to be compassionate? Upstairs, two men with machine guns shoot Danny in the chest and arm. Despite this, he's still functioning fairly well. Because he's the hero, damn it! Danny blows the two henchmen away. Quite literally. Then he handcuffs himself to Traveres because he's injured, presumably? Traveres takes him up into the attic.
You certainly did put all your money into this house, didn't you, huh? Looks like you've got over 10 million in insulation right here.
He literally plastered the money into the walls? Do you, like, walk up to the builders and go, hey, you know these millions of dollars here? I'd just like you to put them in the walls. Please don't take any of it. Just plaster over it. Danny then makes a homemade nail bomb to take out the final henchman. This is borderline A-team. I pity the fool who wrote this shite. The police arrive, but Mikhail has one trick up his sleeve.
There's nothing you can do right now. The police are downstairs. There's no way out.
Defuse this one, Mr. O'Neill.
Oh, goody, we're not even going to get a big action scene for the main bad guy. How anticlimactic. And now he's suddenly splitting apart all over the place, so we're way out of continuity with the effects at the start of the movie. Danny grabs Terry as Mikhail graphically tears apart internally. There's still enough time to lower Terry to the floor, and then Danny and Traveres' obvious stunt doubles do a cringe-worthy rip-off of the suicide jump from Lethal Weapon. On the plus side, at least the handcuffs don't break this time. On the downside for Traveres, he ends up getting impaled on a pointy fence. Well, I guess that's one way to solve a love triangle. That also means Danny saved none of the sensors. What a success story! Also, Sharp Eyes will notice that the fence is blood-stained before Traveres lands on it. I really don't think they cared by this point. Hello! Traveres is impaled! I'd be a little bit more upset about him. So everything is happy and resolved.
Wow, you look like shit, Dan. Really?
Wow, tactful.
Why did you guys call me, huh? I mean, you know I don't do this anymore.
She asked for you personally, Dan.
I guess she was a big fan of him looking up her skirt and trying to freak her out.
I thought I told you to go back to your husband.
I did. My boyfriend did this.
It's funny because it's wildly improbable. No, wait, it's stupid.
Fred, I'm cutting the wire.
Cut quick, Dan. We just had a call. Your wife's water broke. Hey, pal, you're gonna have a baby.
It's water in a positive light. Get it? You know, redemption. Symbolism.
Hey, I like the underwear, by the way. Don't ever change. It looks good.
And on that wildly hilarious note, the movie comes to a close. This movie is bad. Really, really bad. It's one of those movies that you see on late night television and wonder if you're drunk and have a wildly stupid imagination or you are actually watching this. I was completely sober during this production, so I can say with authority, yes, this movie does exist. Thankfully for Brosnan, Bond was being reinvigorated and he leapt at the chance. To say that his career has taken a significant increase in quality is an understatement. It's certainly the best thing that ever happened to it. As for this movie, there isn't really much else to say. There is a supposed sequel called Livewire 2 Human Time Bomb. However, this is actually a film called Human Time Bomb. The movie has absolutely nothing to do with Livewire, and it's sort of like a cut-rate Universal Soldier more than anything. Of course, New Line had the home video rights for Human Time Bomb, taking the title quite literally, and cashed in on this movie's sales. Well, that's all we have time for this week. I'm Matthew Buck, beating down bad movies everywhere.